Yo, what is good? Okay, so I had a strong momentum. So this is still Thanksgiving, and I'm just going to do the next part. But you'll see this on Saturday. Okay, so question 30. Ooh, my eighth grade students. This should be a throwback. Throwback. Okay, so an equation is shown below. For which value of h will this equation have no solutions? Okay, so if you remember how we did it in class a bit, in order to get no solutions, you should have like same number of variables, like on an equation with the same number of variables. So like let's say like 6x is equal to 6x, but you're gonna have like two different constants like plus 7 and minus 5 or minus 6. Okay, why? Because when you try to gather up the x's or the variables here, this thing is going to disappear, and then you're going to get an equation with no variables, but that's false. Okay, so an equation with no variables, but that is false statement. 7 equals -5, so this can't happen, so that means there's no solutions. So you need to see what value of h, so that when you plug that back in, will rig that, okay? Well, look at the left side of this equation. It looks like there's -12x's. So based off of what I just said, you would want to make the h so that you have, when you distribute this, because it's distributive property, h times 3x, it should be -12. So 3 times what gives you -12? It should be -4. Okay, and then we can double check. All right, so then here, if you let h is equal to -4, then that means the right-hand side is going to be -12x, and then -4 times -4, which is plus 16. And then you have on the left side 8 minus 12x. And what's going to happen when you try gathering up the x's by adding 12x, it's going to disappear, and you're going to get a false baloney equation of 8 is equal to 16. Nope, nope. So the answer is 8. Great. Next, 31. Ooh, more geometry. Okay, so what is the value of x here? All right, so what topic is this testing you on? Main one is vertical angles, okay? Vertical angles are congruent. That's just a fancy way of saying equal in measure, okay? So equal. Okay, how do you determine what vertical angles are? Okay, just look for an x, okay? More mathematically, there's an intersection point at the center, but you look for the x, and then you have these butterfly wings, okay? These butterfly wings here, so this angle, whatever that is, let me call this angle 1 and angle 2. These are the same value. So if I said this is 50 degrees, and that also has to be 50 degrees, okay? And then there's another pair of butterfly wings on top and bottom. So here and here. So if that, whatever this value is, it's going to be the same value as that. Okay, so here, look for the x. So the x is here, right there, these two. Okay, so then that means, maybe I'll put that back on here. So that means that these two angles are congruent or equal. So that means I have to set those things equal to each other. So then that means that I have to do 6x minus 23, whoops, is equal to 4x plus 11. And I have to solve for x. So you have to gather the x's on one side. So move the smaller amount of x's to the bigger side. Subtract 4x. Subtract 4x. That's going to be 2x. And then I can add 23 on both sides. Let me just do it in one step. Okay, so I'm going to add 23 on both sides. Plus 23. And then 2x is equal to 34. And then you finally divide by 2. And you get x is equal to 17. So the answer is C. Okay. Note, just a sneak peek into high school geometry. Be careful. When they say, sometimes they might ask you to solve for the actual angle, okay? And that means you might have to do a bit more work, right? So technically the angle here would not be x, but you'd have to plug that value in back into this and then to get the true triangle, okay? Now, a sanity check, when you plug x back in here and x back in here, you should do this as an exercise. You better get the same angle here, okay? All right, I yapped too much. 32. Okay, so there are two people and they're comparing their gym memberships. So the first person, Alex, has for X months, it's going to cost them Y is equal to 15X. Let me see what the question's saying. Identifies the gym membership of the lower cost per month. Okay, lower cost per month. Per. So that means the lower cost, that's one variable, and that per month, this is the other. So this is talking about a rate. And when they talk about rates, think about slope. Okay, so they're testing your knowledge on rate of change or the slope. Okay, and if you remember from previous videos, y is equal to mx plus b. The slope is the constant, the number, touching the x. Fancy way of saying that, coefficient of the x term. So here, it looks like that this 15 is the slope for Alex, and that just means that for him, his cost per month, this 15 is the cost per month. His cost per month is $15. So every time he uses the gym for a month, that's going to be $15, okay? And now for Taylor's, that they represented the line as a graph instead of an equation, and your job is to find out how to find the slope through that, which is pretty easy. You can find many ways of doing this, but here, change in y over change in x, okay? So here, the coordinates are nice. So if I look at this, okay, all I need to do is look at this change in x and the origin. It passes through the origin. So look what's happening here. So the change in y, oh, look at that. Be careful. These are different scales they're using for the y and x axes. That is plus 25. And what is the change in the x, or the run? That is plus 1. So it looks like the slope is going to be 25 over 1. Okay, so that means, what does that mean? That means that Taylor's cost per month is going to be $25, okay? So that means same thing as what I said about Alex. Okay, every month she uses the gym, she pays $25. And now the answer choices is, you just got to read and see which one is saying what I just said, right? So Alex's gym membership at cost of $10 per month, I said no, right? Because we said it was 15. Alex's gym cost membership, this has got to be B. Taylor's gym membership at a cost of 15, we said no, right? Because it's 25. Taylor's gym cost membership at a cost of, did they repeat this twice? Oh no, yeah. So here it's going to be, so D, this expression is correct, right? It's 25 per month, but it says the key word here is lower cost. So the lower cost per month, okay? So once again, it's B, okay? Because 15 is lower than 25. Okay, so we just hit part 2. So this, I believe you take this on the second day. Yeah, just remember, please use these tools. Use these tools. You have the reference sheet and the calculator. Those are very, very important, okay? I don't think you need the ruler or protractor a lot, but I could be wrong. I don't know what they're going to put in the next years, but yeah. So here, okay, 33. It says, what is the value of this expression? Bam. Okay, so you need to know your PEMDAS with these kinds of questions, and also your here, specifically for this one, your laws of exponents, okay? It's testing a few things. So it looks like you're multiplying different exponents with different bases, okay? So you just got to simplify each of these. Anything to the 0th power here, you think of this as 1. When you multiply something by 1, it doesn't do anything to it, so I'm just going to kill that term. 2 to the power of 5 is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times, right? So that's 32. 3 to the negative 2 just means times 1 over 3 squared, which is equal to 9. So the answer is going to be 32 over 9. What choice is that? That's going to be D. And then 34. Okay, trapezoid ABCD was rotated. Okay, so that's the key word, 180 degrees. About the origin, that's the reference point of rotation to create a trapezoid, okay? So what did I say before in the previous part? Look at that video. Rotations are a rigid motion, so they are preserving the distance, okay? And so basically the original shape after the function is still the same, okay? So you just, and same, when you think of the word same, you think about equal or congruent, okay? So let's see what the choices are saying. Congruent. My handwriting is so potato. Okay, anyways. Which statement about the trapezoids is true? Angle A is congruent to angle S. So angle A is this thing. Okay, angle S, no, this is not right, okay? Angle A is obtuse, angle S is acute. It can't be that. Angle C is congruent to angle Q, so angle C is this. Angle Q, no, same reason. One's acute, one's obtuse. Side BC, so they're saying side BC is congruent to side QR. So side BC is the side, so this is BC, QR. Yes, this looks congruent. It is, okay? Side DC, is that congruent to RQ? No, it's not, right? So DC is this, RQ is this. Can't be. So the answer choice is going to be C. Okay, when you get to high school, right, geometry, they're going to be a bit more specific with the questions. They'll say, oh, what is the corresponding side? And you're going after the transformation, and then you have to be a little bit more picky with the ordering of like the letters and how they appear, but you don't need to know that part for now. But if you understand what I'm saying, good. That's a sneak peek. All right, yo, we're good too.